Look at that, Luna. What do you think of that hunk of meat? You're not amused? You like it? All right. Hello everybody, it's your boy TStreet here on Cooking with TStreet. Thank you for being here. Today we got our real treat for you. We got a nice tomahawk steak. It is big. Big. Before we get started though, before I tell you how we're gonna reverse sear this bad boy, I want you guys all to like and subscribe and whatever there is else you can do to help me out, it would mean a lot. So today, what we are doing is I got this big, beautiful tomahawk steak. I forgot how much it weighs, but I went to the butcher and I told the guy, give me the biggest one you got. He went and chopped me up one fresh. So it was pretty fun. So we're gonna reverse sear this. And just to remind you or to teach you what reverse sear even means is basically, since this thing is so thick, it's hard to cook it properly just the normal way. Just straight out of the refrigerator onto the grill. You're gonna mess it up. It's too difficult. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on the smoker, put this on the Camp Chef, and let it sit there at, I'm gonna put the Camp Chef to 250. When it gets to 125 degrees, I'm gonna take it off, and I'm gonna use my sear box, and I'm gonna sear the crap out of it. Just gonna get it way hot, get some nice grill lines on there. That's gonna bring the flavor. This way, it ensures you that you're gonna get the perfect cook for your steak. When you're getting a nice steak like this and you're spending a bunch of money, you wanna make sure you cook it right. If you overcook it or just cook it in a not good way, you're gonna be a disappointed little guy. So before we just throw this on the smoker, there's a lot of things I need to do first. What I'm gonna do first is I am going to do what's called salt brine it. So ideally you do this for more hours than I'm going to. I'm gonna do this for about 4 hours. So basically what salt brining is, that's just a fancy word for put a bunch of salt on it and then put it in the refrigerator for a while. What happens is the salt will soak into your meat and it will help break down the fats and everything like that. And it helps make it more tender. So that's what we're going for. That's gonna make it the best steak possible. Before I add the salt on there though, I'm gonna trim it up a bit. All right, so with trimming this, there's a few main parts. Honestly, the fat is flavor, so you don't want to trim off too much, but it obviously has quite a bit on here. So I'm going to, see this? There's a bone right there. So I am gonna cut that off. So I don't want to trim too much. There's honestly not that much to trim. So that's about all I'm going to do as far as trimming goes. All right, we got it all trimmed up, ready to go. Still a good amount of fat on there, but we want that. Look how big this thing is. It's so pretty. Do I have blood all over my face now? Okay, so we're gonna salt it up. I'm gonna get the kosher salt. Kosher salt's the best. Okay. And that's all there is to it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw this in the fridge for like 4 or 5 hours, come back, and then we're gonna start the rest. All right, now the tomahawk is in the fridge in the salt brine. You're gonna get your unsalted butter. You're gonna get your rosemary, thyme, lemon, and a whole clove of garlic to make your compound butter. You're gonna chop up those herbs. Now, I would say use a little less than I did, unless you really like the herby flavor in your compound butter. Compound butter is big. Oh, hang on to your garlic. And then take off all the little wispies, get them out of there.
But compound butter is awesome because it just makes your steak go to the next level. Because the meat's a good flavor, but then when you melt extra flavor on there, boom, it's so good. Put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil in there, some kosher salt, and some fresh cracked black pepper. Wrap it all up like, I don't know what that looks like, but wrap it up like that. Plop it in the oven, 425 for 45 minutes. And boom, after it's done, it'll look like that. All of your little bulbs should be real soft and mushy. So just squeeze them out. I was burning myself right there. But get your knife, get it out of there, whatever you got to do. Then you can smash all those cloves apart, and then you mix in all of your other herbs, and then throw it in your melted butter. Don't get your butter too melted or it'll be hard to do the next step, but just enough that you can mix it in. Squeeze that lemon in there. Just a half a lemon. Don't go overboard. Just a half a lemon is plenty. Pour it on your saran wrap, twist it all up, and then throw it in the freezer. Now that we got our compound butter in the freezer, you're going to get your tomahawk out of the fridge from the salt brine. And I'm going to start off with some dirt from Sasquatch Barbecue. I love it because it has a little bit of charcoal flavor with it. It really brings out the flavor of the meat real nice. My next thing that I like to use is the blend by Kinder's. It's salt, pepper, garlic. It's my favorite for sure. It's pretty basic and it helps bring out the flavor of the meat. And honestly, when you're spending like, $50-$60 for a steak, you want to taste the meat. You don't want to just taste a bunch of seasonings. So I'm a big believer in keeping it simple. So I just coated all sides of the tomahawk with the dirt and that salt, pepper, garlic. And then obviously we already have salt in it from the salt brine. So you don't need to go too heavy with any sort of salt because you don't need to go that crazy. But you guys, I gotta warn you. So this cook took a weird turn after this. There was some crazy, crazy winds. So it was real hard to get my smoker and my sear box to do the right thing. So it was a stressful night, but here it goes.
All right, we got this big, beautiful tomahawk, salted, seasoned, and ready to go. I got the smoker set to 225. Obviously, drop temperature because the lid's open. Let's plop this thing on there. And I am going to stick this probe into the thickest part of it. Just right about right there. And I'm going to leave it there, and I have my thermometer going. It's still adjusting. So once it hits 125, I'm going to pull it off. I'm going to throw it on my sear box, get some nice grill marks. It's going to be good. All right, come in here close. We're at 91 degrees, right about there. I'm going to flip it over just to make sure everything is cooking evenly. It's kind of dark out here. Got started a little late, but it's all right. So it's looking good. Didn't expect much else. Looking good. A few more 30-ish more degrees and we're taking it off. All right, guys, we got it at 125. Perfect. We're gonna take it off now. Let's take the... Woo! Okay. Let me throw it on here now. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep it so it's hot. It's really windy, so I wanna keep the heat in there. But I'm going to turn it every minute and a half, just so that we get some prettier grill lines on there. This portion of the cook will only take like 3 to 4 minutes. So, yep. Okay, it's been a minute and a half. Turn it about that far. Close it back up again. All right. Oh, yeah. Look at that sizzle. Oh, man, it is freaking windy. I'm gonna just rotate it over there on a different part of the grill because the grates lose their temperature with the steak on it, so I want to make sure they're still hot. Okay, so it's super windy out here, so the flames keep going out on my sear box, so it's not quite getting as hot as I would like it to be, and there's not any fun flames for you. But good news is they're cast iron grates, so they hold their heat. So I had it heating up for a long time before it, so we did get the good grill marks. So it looks real pretty, and it's gonna taste just fine. It's just a little frustrating with the wind. I'm just holding it on this side of the steak now because I want because there's a lot of fat right there, and I want that to render and be more edible instead of hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you liked that portion of the video. Those grill marks, oh boy. And I promise that meat next to the bone was probably my favorite part of the steak. You taste the smoke, you taste the char. It was so good. I'll tell you what, it was so stressful cooking this though because the wind kept blowing out my propane burners. But whatever. It ended up awesome. The Camp Chef has cast iron grill grates, so even though the fire kept getting blown out, at least it held the heat really well, so I could get a nice sear on there. So it turned out really well.
All right, guys, the forces of nature were against us being able to cook this tomahawk right, but against all odds, we had a good sear on it. We got some good lines. It's looking great. Here's our compound butter. I just simply took it out of the freezer, sliced it into little guys. Now let's cut this open and see how it looks. I feel like I'm about to lose it. There we go. Let's cut a nice one right through the middle of it and see how we did. Yeah. See, that's why you do a reverse sear. It just makes it so juicy. So now let me just slice it all up and put some of that butter on there. Put some of that on there. Let's get a little salt too. Salt Bay action. Yeah. Okay, let's get a little slice and see how we did. Wow. It's a lot of flavor. The char is really good. I was worried about the char because of the wind, but wow, it's good. So juicy. So flavorful. We did a good job, guys. Thank you so much for watching Cooking with TStreet tonight, and I appreciate it. Now you all know how to reverse sear a steak. See you next time.